U-Sky Network Midnight News. NAFDAC seals off Chinese supermarket in Abuja for allegedly selling goods labeled in Chinese language. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, today January 6, sealed a Chinese supermarket for allegedly selling goods labeled in Chinese language without its proper notification. Speaking with newsmen after the exercise, NAFDAC's Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Shaba Mohammed, said that the agency got credible information about the supermarket situated at Asba Mall, 2 Durban Street, Wuse 2, Abuja. According to Mohammed, the intel received indicated that all the items being sold at the supermarket were labeled in Chinese language, a situation which, he said, violated NAFDAC regulations. Mohammed, also the chairman, Federal Task Force on Counterfeit, Fake Drugs and Unwholesome Processed Foods with the agency, said upon getting the information, NAFDAC quickly swung into action to find out the situation of things. He said that the agency would carry out investigation on why the over 90% of the goods in the supermarket were labeled in foreign language and how they got into the country. The director also said that some of the affected goods had expired and that they were still on the supermarket's shelves. The supermarket was sealed for violating NAFDAC regulations. Investigation will surely go on about this supermarket. We will also need to go to its warehouse in order to stop them from selling some products. The whole information about this supermarket just go to us. If we had known the information from the beginning, we would have taken regulatory action. We just took against it now. Selling items in foreign language in a country is a violation of our law. If you must sell anything either in Arabic, Chinese and French, you must have English translation of it. More than 90% of the goods sold in the supermarket are in Chinese language. You might find some Nigerians patronizing the supermarket. They should be able to read about some of the items on the shelves. Some of these items have also expired, he said. Lekki Seaport berths largest container vessel, Maersk Edirne, a 13,092 TEUs vessel on Nigerian waters. The container vessel docked at Lekki Port at 14.42 hours on Sunday, January 21, 2024. The Maersk Edirne is one of 13 large container vessels which form the new CMA-CGM wax service that will operate along key locations, including Xiamen, Qingdao, Shanghai, Singapore, Lekki Port, and Abidjan. Lekki Seaport is also set to berth the magnificent CMA-CGM Scandola, an LNG-powered vessel with a carrying capacity of 14,000 TEUs, on January 29. Summary of President Bola Tinubu new tax reforms. 1. Any business with less than N50 million turnover are exempted from tax payment. 2. Over 90% of workers in public and private sector will no longer pay income tax. 3. Over 82% of what low-income persons consume will be VAT-free. 4. Scrapping over 50 nuisance tax suffered by local businesses. 5. VAT will no longer be calculated based on where the companies have their headquarters but where the goods are consumed. 6. The rich to pay more tax while the poor will stop paying taxes. 7. Consumption tax collected by states will be eliminated completely. 8. Federal government share of VAT to reduce from 15% to 10% as states and LGAs now get 90%. 9. Those earning less than N1.7 meters monthly will now pay less income tax. 10. Customs, NUPRC and other government agencies will no longer collect tax as only one agency will be responsible for collection of all taxes in NGR. 11. Those receiving less than N9 million per annum could have their income tax cut by half. 12. The bill could lead to abolition of other multiple tax laws like the Stamp Duty Act. 13. Over 90% of small business would no longer pay profit tax. 14. Gradual increase of VAT from 10% in 2025 to 15% in 2030. With almost every goods consumed by low-income earners exempted from VAT. 15. Many NGR companies pay over 60 types of different tax and levies. The bill seeks to end this factor killing NGR industries. #Watch. President Bola Tinubu arrives in Accra, Ghana for the inauguration of President-elect John Mahama. My new My New Year message has now led to threats against my life, my family, and those around me. Peter Obi. He made this known via his official X handle. He wrote, "Have I really crossed the line? I asked the question because my New Year message has now led to threats against my life, my family, and those around me. While I have received all sorts of messages, one Mr. Felix Morka has gone further to accuse me of crossing the line, and has warned that I will face the consequences. I find it necessary to share this message again and urge everyone who has not seen it to watch. If I have truly crossed the line, I invite anyone to point it out, as I remain committed to upholding decorum. However, I will not be silenced in my resolve to speak truthfully, especially as our nation continues to drift toward undemocratic practices. We are increasingly transforming into an authoritarian and repressive regime, where freedom of expression is being systematically suppressed. May God help us create a better and freer society for the sake of our children." Poe. Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau resigns and suspends Parliament until March. Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau has announced his resignation from office. The 53-year-old said he will step down as leader of the country's ruling Liberal Party, which he has led since 2013. He also said the country's parliament will be suspended until March 24 until a new leader is chosen. "I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister," Trudeau told reporters in Ottawa following a protracted political crisis that saw top Liberal allies urge him to quit. Parliament has been paralysed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history, he said. "This morning, I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24. Trudeau will remain Prime Minister in a caretaker capacity until a new leader is chosen. He came under further pressure after his finance minister resigned, his entry in cases on point including costly political gimmicks. The disagreements included how to handle possible USA tariffs imposed by Donald Trump's incoming administration. Mr. Trudeau's resignation comes as the polls show his party is likely to suffer a heavy defeat to the official opposition Conservatives in an election that must be held by late October. The Liberals must now name an interim leader to take over as Prime Minister ahead of a special leadership convention.